Elections. You always know when they're approaching. The constant ads and social media posts are usually the first clue that something special is happening in November. But what's all the excitement even about? There's 1 million people in Montana and 328 million across the country. It's not like one vote really matters, right? You'd be wrong. Every vote makes a difference, and Montana has some of the most competitive races in the country. So why is voting so important? We have a representative democracy here in the United States, which means you elect people to represent your interests. They will make decisions for us in a contract that lasts the length of their term. This is why we need to take voting seriously, because it is how we make our voices heard. But our democracy hasn't always been representative of everyone. When the United States was first formed, only white male Protestants who owned property and were over the age of 21 were allowed to vote. We've come a long way from where we started, passing several important pieces of legislation to protect voting rights, like the Voting Rights Act of 1965. However, we have far to go. Voter suppression still exists everywhere in the United States. This can look like many things. Voter ID laws, purging voter rolls, limiting early and mail-in voting, felony disenfranchisement, gerrymandering, sabotaging election infrastructure, and voter intimidation are some of the many examples of voter suppression. So, how do you know if you're eligible to vote? To vote in Montana, you need to be a citizen of the U.S., be at least 18 years old by November 3rd, have resided in Montana for at least 30 days, and not be a convicted felon currently serving time in prison. This year, most of the attention has been focused on the presidential election, but that's not the only thing on the ballot. You'll see statewide and local races, some of which you might not be familiar with. Up for election are legislators like U.S. senators and representatives, and state senators and representatives. There's also the governor, attorney general, superintendent of public instruction, and more. Ballot measures are another important thing on the ballot. These are pieces of proposed legislation to be approved or rejected by voters. Montana has 5 statewide ballot measures this year. 1 concerning local government's ability to regulate firearms, 2 regarding changing the language in Montana's constitution, and 2 about legalization of marijuana. There may also be other local ballot measures on your ballot, depending on the county you live in. To find more information about these candidates and issues, visit ballotready.org. Election Day is this Tuesday, November 3rd, but many people have already cast their votes. Due to the pandemic, there have been multiple voting methods implemented to accommodate all types of voting needs, but this close to the election, it's too late to vote by mail. Vote in person at your county elections office, or drop off your ballot in a certified drop box instead. Montana also allows same-day voter registration at the polls. Even if you can't vote this election, make sure to encourage your parents, relatives, friends, and peers to vote. Remember, every vote counts! As American politician Stacey Abrams once said, "The fight to defend the right to vote begins with understanding where we've been and knowing where we are now." Thank you for listening!